Okay, let me get this out of the way. I didn't steal that donkey, okay? I borrowed it. And it wasn't even my idea. Jesus told me to take it, to borrow it, right? Okay, this is how it happened. Earlier today, there was a large group of us, and we were traveling from Bethany to Jerusalem. We stopped just outside the city, and Jesus looked at two of us, and he said there was an unridden donkey just inside the village, and asked us to go get it. He said if anybody, asked us about it, we could just look at him and say, the Lord needs it, and he'll send it back. So the two of us beat it into town, and the whole time we were like, what is Jesus going to do with a donkey, right? But by this point, we realized you don't second guess Jesus, right? He hadn't told us why, and we didn't ask. We just got him a donkey. And when we got back, that's when it happened. Some people put their coats on the donkey, and Jesus got on the donkey, and when he got on the donkey, I don't know. It's like everyone started shouting and dancing and singing, and some people were throwing their coats in front of the donkey. There was some of us that grabbed some palm branches, and we started waving them in the air, and that's when it clicked. Jesus had finally arrived. I know that sounds weird. No, it's like this. In the past, we would get excited because Jesus would do something, a miracle, or there would be some parable or something he said. We'd get excited about it, and Jesus would always be like, "Shh, come on, guys, nope, just be quiet, And then we'd come up with some idea. Hey, let's do this or let's do that, and Jesus would be like, "No, guys, no, not now, not now." But today, today was now. Today, he finally let us shout and sing and dance and treat him like the Messiah that we'd all been waiting for. He finally showed up. I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow holds. It feels like it's something big, but who knows, But it doesn't matter what happens, because Jesus showed up. And there's nothing better than when Jesus shows up.
Week 6 of our Holy Solitude series, and this week we talk about confinement, and we saw the choir, and that was wonderful, and now we have about 42 minutes worth of sermon to go through. Not 43, because there's a fine line between a long sermon and a hostage situation. When I was a kid, I loved getting new stuff, and toys especially. Not clothes so much, but, And anytime I got anything new, I would look at it. Now, a lot of times I'd get it late at night and it'd be an outdoor thing, so that's why. But I'd look at it, and I'd just stare at it, and I'd turn it, whatever it was, and then I would see it. There might be a crack or some sort of imperfection, some flaw that rendered it imperfect, like a place where they weren't supposed to paint and they did, or they were supposed to paint and they didn't. And then I realized my brand new thing was not perfect anymore. And I didn't know that nothing is really ever perfect. I just felt like, well, when you have a name like Jinx, and then all the stuff you get has a flaw, you just think the world's out to get you. And it got to be where I wouldn't get excited about new stuff. Kind of messed up, huh? Well, let me ask you this. How many times do we do something like that? How many times do we think we're not good enough to have something good, or we think that maybe I can't accomplish that big thing, so I'm just not even going to try? But how many times do we also do that with people? Like, How many times have we seen a person's flaws or their past before we see their gifts and their potential? How many times have we pushed one person away because someone else hurt us deeply and we don't want to give someone else a chance? How many times have we denied ourselves the ability to enjoy a Kodak moment? A moment where we have a perfect thing at a perfect time with the perfect people around, but we can't enjoy it because we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or we're waiting to figure out how we're going to pay that bill that we know we can't pay, or we know that that person that we're with won't be around much longer, or we maybe know that we won't be around much longer. That's Palm Sunday for us. That's what Palm Sunday has become for us. Because, see, we've seen this before in our lives. We've been the ones celebrating only to turn around the next day or the next week broken, crying, hurt. So when Palm Sunday rolls around, we kind of get our palms and we wave them around respectably. We don't want to seem foolish or seem that we got carried away. And we get ready and we set our palms down and we get ready for the inevitable shift from the palms to the passion. Because we know it's coming. We know that the other shoe's going to drop. And so we automatically go there. And sometimes it makes Easter very difficult. Oh. Sometimes it makes Easter very difficult to celebrate fully because we aren't fully present. And we think this way of celebrating Palm Sunday is normal for us. But see, the people back then, they knew what happened next too. No, they didn't know what was going to come on over the following week. But see, they knew how this celebration was going to end. See, around 4 BC, around the time Jesus was born, they were getting ready for the Passover just like today. And some Hebrew youths threw some stones at some Roman guards. We don't know if they were actually angry or if they were just playing, but the Romans, they respond very heavy-handed. And the Romans killed 3,000 Jewish people because of that. And just 10 to 12 years later, a small rebellion occurred, and the Romans responded with a heavy hand, and they crucified 2,000 people and sold 20,000 into slavery. And both of these events happened right around this time of year, during the Passover, right before the Passover. So these people who were singing Hosanna, they were waiting for the other shoe to drop that day as well. They knew that this wasn't going to end well. They knew that it wouldn't end well for them when the Romans respond, and especially for this Jesus who, if they hadn't heard of, they knew that by him coming in on that donkey, by the people singing, by the people throwing the palm branches in the road, that it wouldn't end well for him either. But they still celebrated. Because they hoped that maybe this time things would be different, and they wanted out of their confinement. And so for this moment, this fleeting bubble of time, they let go. They let go of their reservations, their misgivings, and their inhibitions. And that word Hosanna, we look it up in the dictionary, it says praise, see Greek. You go to Greek and you look it up and it says praise, see Hebrew, Aramaic. You go to Hebrew and Aramaic and it doesn't say praise. It says, please help us. Please save us. Can you imagine a whole city worth of people hoping this man is really the Messiah? The largest peaceful protest of its time? And they're crying out, please save us. They've stripped the palms to the extent they're nothing more than little fingers sticking out of the ground. People have thrown off their coats, and the whole city is saying, please save us. And really, their hope is inspiring. It's courageous. The people had been confined too long. And we have been confined too long in our ways of thinking, looking at the imperfections of life, Because we've seen people break our trust. We've seen people that we try to help make bad decisions, and we think if they would just listen to us. We've tried before, we failed, or we were hurt, or we lost our money, or we lost a friendship, and we just can't bear to try it again. That is Palm Sunday. But there's nothing better than when Jesus shows up, because that happened on Palm Sunday. Because through Jesus we glimpse a new kingdom, a hope for a new tomorrow. We can see hope, we can see possibilities, and all it takes is that one shred of hope, that one seed of hope to break the dam to where we can celebrate wholeheartedly, without reservation. That moment we can enjoy that perfect time with a loved one, maybe outside on a beautiful day like today, maybe in there eating baked potatoes and barbecue. That moment that we can really be present in that moment and disregard our past hurts. I tell you, I look forward to days like Palm Sunday. I look forward to days when I have hope. Because in our world, we don't have enough hope. And so, sometimes we have to pick up our palm branch. And some days, we might be all alone singing, Hosanna, God, save us. And when those thoughts come that say, no, you got to worry about this other thing, this bill that's coming due, you just say, Hosanna again. And when more and more happens and more tries to distract you from that hope, you say it louder and louder until you're those people on that day saying, Hosanna, please save us. Amen.